video, so we would like to find these two limits. So let us start by the first case. So so it says limit as x approaches infinity 1 plus 1 over 5x, then all to the power 2x plus 6. So we already know that limit 1 plus 1 over x all to the power x as x approaches infinity. So that is already we know that is the Euler number, which is e here. So we would like to apply this in order to find our limit here. So to do this, now you see here we have 1 over x, but here we have here we have 1 over x, but here we have 1 over 5x. Then we need something similar to this. And also here in the exponent, so we have x, but here we have 2x plus 6. So we also need to do something here. I mean, the first step would be to replace this part by 1 over u. So now it will be similar here. So 1 over u we need to say equal to 1 over 5x. So if we do cross multiplying, then we get 5x is equal to u. So then that means here so everything here will be 1 over u, but we also need to find x. So from here x will be equal to u divided by 5. So now, I mean, everything here now we can change. We already know x now, and we know this, but now here we say, okay, as x approaches infinity, that means when x approaches infinity from here, then you will also approach infinity. So then that means you will also approach infinity. So now, I mean, let us call this limit L, just to avoid rewriting things again. So if this is L, I mean the limit is L, so then that will be equal to, so then that will be equal to the following. If this limit is L, so then we would have limit 1 plus 1 over u. So as u approaches infinity, and then here we have 2x, that means we have 2, x is now u divided by 5, then plus 6, right? So again, so here we do this. So now our limit would become as follows. So I mean here we could rewrite this again. So limit as u approaches infinity, then here we would have 1 plus 1 over u. So I mean the first exponent here is u divided by 5 times u. So sorry, is 2 divided by 5 times u, and then this will also be times 1 plus 1 over u to the power 6 here, because if we just multiply those two, then we get this the whole exponent here. So now we can distribute the limit. So then this will become limit as u approaches infinity. So here we would have 1 plus 1 over u to the power 2 divided by 5u times limit of 1 plus 1 over u all to the power 6 as u approaches infinity. So and then so we are very close to this. So now we are trying to apply this. So then what we could do is we say, okay, we have limit 1 plus 1 over u to the power u, but then everything here could be to the power, or will be to the power 2 over 5, because we can just multiply those two internal and external exponents, and then we get this times here this. Now we can evaluate because we don't have u here, so we don't have u in the exponent, it's only a constant. I mean, we can substitute u by infinity, and then we get 1 plus 1 divided by infinity, so to the power 6, and then this will this is 0, and then this will be 1 to the power 6, which is 1. So now let us see. I mean, this limit here we have as u approaches infinity. So we can do the following. I mean, this is already 1, then that means we don't need to care about. So we know that whenever you have such limit, then you can put the limit inside. So that means we have this. So limit as u approaches infinity, then 1 plus 1 over u to the power u, and now here everything will be to the power 2 divided by 5. So now here we know this, that is already e, right? So then that will be e to the power 2 over 5. So then that is the final answer for this one. So now let us do the second one, which is here. So for 2, we also call it L. So this is our second limit. Let us write it down again. So as u approaches infinity, so then that will be 4x plus 6 divided by 4x plus 2 all to the power 3 minus 2x. Now we would like to write this in a similar way. So in order to be able to apply this, I mean, the idea here is as follows. So then that will be limit as x approaches infinity, right? So we do the following for this. We say, okay, we can write this as 4x plus 2, and then also plus 4 here, because we have 6, and then everything here will be divided by 4x plus 2. So then this is to the power 3 minus 2x. Now why we did this? Because we would like to distribute. We need to get the 1 here, right? So then that will be limit as x approaches infinity. If we distribute, then we will get, I mean, this will be divided by this, plus this is divided by this here. So that means we get 1 plus 4 divided by 4x plus 2 all to the power 3 minus 2x here, right? So now we are close. So let us maybe rewrite it again here. So for example, you see that what we have, so the limit, I write it again. So that is limit as x approaches infinity. So we have 1 plus 4 divided by 2x, sorry, that was 4x plus 2. So and then to the power, so 4x plus 2 to the power 3 minus 2x. Okay, so now as we did before, we need to put this as follows. So we say, okay, everything here we need it to be 1 over u. So that means here we would have 4 divided by 2x, 4x plus 2. It's 4x plus 2. So we also cross multiplying again, then we get 2x plus 2 will be equal to 4u. Why we do this? Because we also need to replace, to change this x, or to write it in terms of u. And from here we can get x. I mean, here just doing simple algebra, then we need to take this to the right hand side, then we get 4u minus 2, and then we'll divide everything here by 2. So then this is our x here in this case. But notice that again here, when x approaches infinity, you also would approach infinity. So we say as x approaches infinity, so you also will approach infinity from here. So then we can change everything. So the limit would become limit as u approaches infinity here. So and then we get 1 plus 1 divided by u. God, this is what we assumed. So assume this to be 1 over u, and then here we would have 3 minus 2x. So and now we have 2 times x is now 4u minus 2 divided by 2. So and obviously this would cancel out, right? So then the next step would be limit as u approaches infinity, so 1 plus 1 over u. So now we would have maybe we can just do this algebra here and write the final answer. So we would have 3, no, sorry, that was wrong. This would cancel with this. So, and then here we would have 3 minus, so this would cancel with this. So we would have 4u, and then we'd have negative here outside. So, and then times negative, it would be plus 2. So then that means here we would have 5 minus 4u, right? So, and then from here we can apply our rule now. So now we are safe. So we do the same as we did for the previous one. So we say limit as u approaches infinity. We just write it as the multiplication of two terms. So then the first one will be 1 plus 1 over u to the power 5, then times 1 plus 1 over u to the power negative 4u, right? And then again we can distribute the limit here. So then that will be, so our L, which is the main limit, will be, so limit this times this limit. So it will be limit as u approaches infinity. So then that will be 1 plus 1 divided by u to the power 5, and then times limit. So we do it here below. So then times, this is a multiplication, times limit as u approaches infinity. So we would have 1 plus 1 over u to the power negative 4u. So now we have everything. Here we can substitute directly for the first limit. So when we put this infinity in the substitution, then we get 1 over infinity, which is 0. So then the limit is 1. So that means we only have this limit. So we say limit as u approaches infinity. So we have 1 plus 1 over u. So again we do the same. So we just write this as follows. So we say u, but to the power negative 4, right? So again we put the limit inside. So then we would have a limit as u approaches infinity. So here we would have 1 plus 1 over u to the power u, and then everything here to the power negative 4. Cool. So and then that is clear now. So this is e, and then to the power negative 4. So this is our final answer, and thank you very much for watching the video.